A little over a year ago, a stranger very merely sold Graceland, not the family who owns it, a thief using nothing but forged paper. The famous home of Elvis Presley, one of the most recognized houses in the entire country, was almost auctioned off to a buyer over fake documents and a signature that was never real. It was caught, but only barely, with about 1 day to spare before the sale would have gone through. And it took the authorities 3 long months afterward just to trace who was behind it. Now, here is what I need you to sit with for a moment. If a thief can walk up and nearly steal one of the most famous homes in America, in broad daylight, with nothing more than a few forged papers, then think about how much easier it is to do that same thing to an ordinary paid-off home like yours. A home nobody famous is watching. A home where there is no bank, no lender, no one at all keeping an eye on the title. It is a fast-growing crime, and older people who own their homes free and clear are the favorite target of all. Over the next few minutes, I am going to show you exactly how it works, why your paid-off home is the one they want most, the single free step that shuts the whole thing down, and the popular paid service you should never waste your money on. Let me begin with why they are coming for you in particular. There is a cold reason these thieves go looking for gray hair and a paid-off home. Think about it from their side. A younger family with a mortgage has a bank standing behind them, watching the property closely, because the bank owns a piece of it too. But once you have made that final payment, once the home is fully and completely yours, that watchful eye goes away. There is no lender checking the records anymore. There is only you. And if you are like most people, you have not looked at your property records in years. Perhaps not since the day you first signed for the house. That is the opening they are hunting for. A home with a great deal of value built up inside it, owned free and clear, by someone who is not watching it closely. And the numbers tell the story plainly. In a single recent year, federal crime investigators logged more than 9,000 complaints of this kind of real estate fraud, with victims losing over $170 million between them. And here is the figure that should stop every older homeowner cold. While seniors were only about 1 in 5 of the people who complained, they accounted for nearly half of all the money lost. Let that settle for a second. Older homeowners are a smaller share of the victims, but they lose far more, because the homes they own are worth more and are watched less. You are not imagining that you are a target. By the cold arithmetic of these criminals, you are the target. And there is one group they hunt with special care. So let me name it, in case it is you or someone you love. If you own a second home, or a property that sits empty for part of the year, or if you spend your winters somewhere warmer and leave a house standing behind you, you are an even richer prize, because a home no one is living in can be stolen and even rented out or sold before anyone notices at all. The same is true for a home recently left behind after a husband or wife has passed, in the very season when everything is already in confusion and grief. These thieves read obituaries. They watch for the empty house and the darkened windows. If any of that describes your life, then the steps I am about to give you matter for you most of all. So, let me show you exactly how they do it, because once you see how simple it is, you will understand why it works so often and why the fix matters so much. It begins with your personal information, the ordinary kind that leaks out in the data breaches we have all lived through. Your name, your address, your date of birth. With that, a thief fills out a deed, the single piece of paper that says who owns your home. They forge your signature on it. They find a way to get it notarized, sometimes with a crooked notary, sometimes by fooling an honest one, and then they simply walk it into your county office or mail it in and file it. And here is the hard truth that shocks people the most. In most places, no one at that county office calls you to check. No one knocks on your door to ask whether you really meant to sign your home away. The clerk records what is filed. That is the job. The paper goes into the record, and just like that, on paper, your home now belongs to someone else. From there, the damage moves fast. Sometimes they take out a loan against your home, pocket the money, and vanish. leaving the debt sitting on your house. Sometimes they try to sell it out from under you, exactly as they tried with Graceland. And the cruelest part is how you find out. It is almost never a warning. It is a loan bill for money you never borrowed. It is a notice of foreclosure on a home you paid off years ago. It is a letter congratulating the new owners. By the time that envelope lands in your mailbox, the crime is already done, and untangling it can take many months of lawyers and heartache. So the whole game comes down to one thing: knowing the very moment a piece of paper touches your title, instead of finding out long after the fact. Let me make this real, with the kind of story that quietly plays out somewhere in this country almost every single week. Picture a widow who paid off her home decades ago, the house where she raised her children, the one thing on this earth she was certain no one could ever take from her. She was careful with her money, and she owed nothing to anyone. Then one ordinary afternoon, a letter arrived, saying her home was scheduled to be sold over a loan she had never taken out, against a deed she had never signed. Someone she had never met had forged her name, borrowed a small fortune against her house, and vanished into the air. She had done nothing wrong. She had simply never been told that such a thing was even possible, and so she had never set up the one free warning that would have caught it on the very first day. Months of fear and lawyers followed, all of it to undo something that a single free alert would have stopped before it ever began. Her story is the reason I am making this video, so that it never becomes yours. And that brings me to the single most important thing in this entire video, the one free step that quietly shuts this whole crime down. It is called a property alert, or a deed alert, and a great many county offices across the country now offer it, completely free of charge. Here is what it does. You sign up one time with the office in your county that records property documents, and from that day forward, the moment anyone files anything at all against your home, a deed, a loan, a transfer, a claim, you are told. A message, an email, a letter, right away, while there is still time to stop it, instead of months later when the damage is already done. Think about what that means against everything I just described. The thief can still forge the paper. They can still try to file it. But the instant they do, you know. And a fraud that depends entirely on you not noticing simply falls apart the moment you are the one watching. It is the closest thing there is to a lock on your title. And in most places, it costs you nothing but a few minutes to set up. So this is your one action from today. Call your county recorder or your county clerk or whatever office keeps the property records where you live and ask them one simple question. Do you offer a free property alert or deed alert service? And how do I sign up? If they have it, sign up that very day. If they do not, ask how you can check your own property record, because in most counties you can look it up for free anytime you like. Simply making a habit of checking it 2 or 3 times a year is a quiet, powerful protection all on its own. Now I have to warn you about something, because if I do not, someone else will happily take advantage of the very fear this video might stir up. You have probably seen the advertisements, the ones on television and online, run by companies promising to protect your home with something they call title lock for a monthly fee. And after everything I have just told you, that sounds like exactly what you need. So let me be plain with you. Those paid services do not actually stop a thief from filing a false deed. They cannot. What most of them really do is watch the public record and tell you after something has already been filed, which is very often the same thing the free alert from your own county will do, except now you are paying every single month for it. I am not telling you those companies are breaking the law. I am telling you that you should not hand over a monthly fee out of fear for something your own county very likely offers for nothing. And there is one more piece of protection worth knowing about, because you may already own it. If you bought what is called an owner title insurance policy back when you first purchased your home, that policy can help protect you financially if a fraudulent claim ever lands on your property. A great many people have it and have long since forgotten. So before you ever pay a company a monthly fee, do two things. Sign up for the free alert from your county and dig out the closing papers from when you bought the home and see whether you already hold title insurance. Between those two, you have most of the real protection there is, and it costs you little or nothing at all. And while you are guarding the front door, let me give you two more simple locks for the side windows because thieves rarely rely on just one way in. The first is your credit, because this crime so often begins with a stolen identity. Placing a freeze on your credit with the major credit bureaus is one of the strongest and simplest things you can do. It is free. You can lift it anytime you need to, and it makes it far harder for anyone to borrow against your name or your home. The second is your mail. So much of this begins or ends with a letter, a notice you were not expecting, a statement for an account you never opened, a piece of official-looking real estate mail about a property matter you know nothing about. Do not toss those aside. Open them, read them, and if something looks wrong, act on it that same week. And if you have a son or a daughter or a trusted person who helps you with things, let them help you here too. Sit down together. Set up the county alert as a team and check the property record now and then. This is not a burden to place on your family. It is one of the most practical gifts you can give one another, the shared peace of knowing the home is safe. So let me leave you with the whole of it simply. The home you own free and clear, the one you spent a lifetime paying for, is exactly the kind of home these thieves look for, precisely because no one is watching it. But that is also the good news, because the fix is almost entirely in your own hands, and it is very nearly free. You do not need to live in fear, and you certainly do not need to pay a monthly fee to a company selling that fear back to you. You simply need to be the one who is watching. Sign up for the free alert with your county. Check your property record a few times a year. Freeze your credit. Open your mail. And keep the papers from the day you bought your home somewhere you can find them. Do those few things, and a crime that works only in the dark, only when no one is looking, quietly loses all of its power over you. The thief is counting on your silence and your inattention. Take those two things away, and there is almost nothing left for him to steal. So take one action today. Find your county recorder and ask about that free alert. It is a handful of minutes that can protect the single biggest thing you own. And if you know another homeowner, a neighbor, a friend, someone who worked their whole life to pay off a home and does not yet know any of this, please send this to them. It may be the very thing that keeps their home in their own hands.